الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قال ربي إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فغفر له إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Today, inshallah, I'm going to start speaking with you about some of the du'as of Musa alayhi salam. And the first of his du'as happened again when he was a very young man. And at this occasion, he used to live in Egypt. He was not yet a prophet. Allah had not given him revelation yet. And when he was living in Egypt, he was living the life of a prince. So he was royalty. He was raised by Fir'aun. Even though the Pharaoh had killed ordered to kill every newborn baby the year that Musa alayhi salam was born, somehow miraculously he fell in love with Musa alayhi salam, even though he knew he's from the slave race. Because those kids, they looked different from the Egyptian royalty. Their skin color was different, their ethnicity is different. But since Asiya presented him to him, long story short, he decided, or he allowed for him to be raised not only in the house as a servant, but actually as royalty, as a prince. Now, part of that was Musa alayhi salam knew, as growing up, he knew that he doesn't belong racially to the Egyptians. He belongs to Banu Israel. So he knew that even though he lives there, like the Egyptians, that he's actually from the slave race, right? Because the Israelites, the Banu Israel, were kept as slaves. So what he used to do is try to help in the afternoons. In the afternoon time, they have a break from work. So they make the slaves do all the labor. But in the hot sun, it's even too hot for the slave masters to whip them and make them do work. So everybody takes an afternoon break. You know, in Spanish they called it a siesta, right? Qaylula in the Arabic language. Or in Pakistan they just call it going to work. But anyway, but the idea is in the afternoon everybody just takes a nap, right? They're just taking and in that time, the cops aren't around, the streets are empty. This is the time he used to find the opportunity to go in the middle of the hot day to the Israelites and go help whoever he can. Go help an old man, see if he can finish somebody's work. Because at that time he wouldn't get detected. It wouldn't be known that a royal from the palace is helping these people, because that would be almost illegal. Right? So he used to find that time to go. And it's a very powerful lesson that he was young, he was strong, he was wealthy, he was connected, and he was spending his days doing this. Right? What youth should be doing with their time is a side lesson here. In any case, one day he came there, and فَوَجَدَ رَجُلَيْنِ يَقْتَتِلَانِ. He went in that time and he found two men fighting each other, basically killing each other. And as he got closer, هَذَا مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِهِ. This one of them belongs to his own people, meaning he's from Banu Israel, he's one of the Muslims. Those were the Muslims of that time. And the other one is from the enemy, meaning he's the army of the Pharaoh. So it's a soldier of the Pharaoh fighting with one of his Muslim brothers. And so he got upset and he came closer, and what he did was, فَاسْتَغَاثَهُ الَّذِي مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ عَلَى الَّذِي مِنْ عَدُوِهِ. The one who was from his people asked for his help. My brother, he's trying to kill me, help me. And so he went close, فَوَكَزَهُ Musa. So Musa alayhi salam punched him. فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. He was done. With one punch he was dead. So the guy, the Egyptian soldier, the cop if you will, died right on the spot. No witnesses, there's only 2-3 people there. The one that was getting a beating, his Muslim brother, and then this kafir soldier, and then Musa alayhi salam. These are the only 3. And Musa alayhi salam didn't intend to kill him. He got upset. He's beating my Muslim brother for no reason. I'm going to go put a stop to this. He threw one punch and it was over. فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. Here's where his conversation with Allah begins. This has just happened, and his conversation with Allah begins. The first thing he says is, قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. This is from the work of shaitan. First words, after he's just done this. Now, let's take a step back. You would think he just helped his fellow Muslim brother against a zalim, an oppressive kafir soldier. He should be saying, this is jihad fi sabilillah. Because when my fellow Muslim asks me for help and I go help and rescue him, I did something good. But his own admission about his own deed is what? This is from the work of shaitan. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. Why would he say that? This is a really shocking thing for him to say. And then he would say, إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌ مُضِلٌّ مُبِينٌ. Shaitan is an enemy that misguides, clearly misguides. Meaning he's saying what I did is something shaitan wanted. And what I did is not guided. It's not a guided thing that I did. Later on in Quran he will even say, وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ فَعَلْتُهَا إِذَنْ وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. I did that crime and I was misguided. I was lost at the time. So the question then arises, how is this misguidance? How is this the work of shaitan? The Prophet of Allah would tell us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-ajilatu min ash-shaytan. Rushing is from shaitan. You see something wrong happening and you want to react immediately. You don't know the full story. You just know this one is your people, this one is the other people, and those people, the soldiers of Fir'aun, they do these kinds of crimes every day for hundreds, if not thousands of years. They've been doing these kinds of crimes. So you assume, because they always do these kinds of crimes, what you see in front of you is just one more case of the same kind of crime. Instead of thinking every case is unique, not every case is the same, and before you make judgment, even though you think this is like every other case, you have to stop and investigate before you take any action and punish anyone or take action against anyone. You see, this is a very powerful statement by Musa alayhi salam about first of all, the power of youth and their desire to take action without fully understanding a situation. This is the kind of statement that the ummah needs very badly nowadays, because so much of the ummah is young and quick to react to something that happens in the world or something that happens in their society, and they want to just get out on the street and they just want to do something. هذا من عمل الشيطان. Before you understand fully what's going on, the full scope of what's going on, and you take action, and somebody's been, and he doesn't even know, by the way, he doesn't yet know that the Muslim brother that he helped is a con artist, he's a criminal and all of that. He doesn't know any of this yet. He just recognizes in himself he should not have rushed. He should not have taken that action. هذا من عمل الشيطان. But there's another problem here. And the other problem is, sounds like he's not blaming himself, he's blaming who? Well, this is shaitan. Like, you meet some people that are like, man, shaitan gets me, and I hate shaitan. He made me do so much drugs, and he made me do so much alcohol. I can't stand that guy. And they start cursing out shaitan. That's cool, but you're responsible for what you do. Shaitan didn't make you do anything. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. Allah told shaitan, my slaves, you will have no authority over them. You will have no authority over them. On Judgment Day, he'll come and say, I just asked you to do stuff. I didn't make you do anything. That was all you. So on the one hand, he first recognizes this is the kind of thing shaitan wants me to do. But then immediately he doesn't remove his own responsibility from this act. So in his next words, he says, قَالَ رَبِّي إِنِّي ظَلَمْتُ نَفْسِي فَاغْفِرْ لِي. Master, there is no doubt about it. It is in fact I that has wronged myself. I take full responsibility for what just happened before you. I have done wrong to myself. إِنِّي ظَلَمْتُ نَفْسِي فَاغْفِرْ لِي. So forgive me. So forgive me. The most important thing about this portion of the dua is that you need to know that Musa alayhi salam is not yet a prophet. What does that mean? All Muslims who are, of course, we're not prophets, we speak to Allah, but Allah does not speak to us. You understand? The difference between us and a prophet is a prophet, Allah speaks to them. Allah communicates with them. With everybody else, directly, we have direct communication with Allah. We speak with Allah. Now here's the thing. If you ask someone to forgive you, if you ask your mother to forgive you, if you ask your boss to forgive you, your teacher to forgive you, how will you know if they forgive you? They can tell you. Mom, I'm sorry. Mom says, it's okay. Give me a hug. Now you know mom forgave you. What happens if you ask Allah to forgive you? How do you know? It's a very common question. Muslims ask each other all the time. We ask ourselves, how do I know if Allah actually forgave me? How am I supposed to know? I mean, I made istighfar. I asked Allah to forgive, but I have no way of knowing. This ayah has the answer. He's just committed what you would think is not a small mistake. This is murder. Even though it's involuntary, it's still murder. It's a major sin in the deen. And he turned to Allah and asked for forgiveness. What does Allah say? فَغَفَرَ لَهُ. Therefore, Allah forgave him. Therefore, Allah forgave him. What we learn here is when a believer genuinely asks Allah for forgiveness, then they should know in their heart that Allah forgave. You should not doubt that Allah forgave. You should have no doubt left that Allah forgave if your asking for forgiveness was genuine. Then there's no, I wonder if Allah forgave me or not. Leave that wonder behind. The only thing you should wonder is, was my apology sincere or not? That's the only thing you need to ask. The rest is taken care of. And then Allah guarantees it on top. He says, إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. No doubt about it. He's the only one who keeps on forgiving repeatedly. And He's the only one that shows love, care, and mercy. This is Allah's guarantee over him. Again, I remind you, is he a prophet yet or no? No. So Allah didn't tell him that He forgave him. He just knows on his own. Look in the next ayah. رَبِّي بِمَا قَالَ رَبِّي بِمَا أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. This dua is unique. He asked Allah for forgiveness. That's all he asked for. I did wrong to myself, forgive me. But now in the next ayah he says, my Rabb, my Master, because of the favor you've done to me, بِمَا أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ, because of the favor you've done to me, فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ, I will never back up criminals ever again. I will never make a mistake like this of judging quickly again. But the question there is, he turned to Allah and said, Allah, Ya Allah, you did me a favor. What favor? What the question arises, what favor? He just committed this mistake. He begged Allah for forgiveness. Allah has not directly communicated with him yet. He's not on the mountain yet. That happens many years later. So, but he as a believer knows, his mother raised him as a believer. He has the influence of Asiyah radiallahu anha, who's a believer. And in their influence, he learned how Allah Azza wa Jal, what's the sunnah of Allah? When a sincere slave turns back to Allah, تَابَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. Even the Prophet said this, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that when a slave, إِذَا اعْتَرَفَ بِذَنْبِهِ وَتَابَ اللَّهُ تَابَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. When a slave admits their sin to Allah and returns back to Allah asking for forgiveness, Allah accepts their apology. Allah turns back to them. So he knows this and says, this is the favor of Allah to me. The favor of Allah to me is that Allah accepted my apology. And then part of that is a commitment to Allah. And that is, فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. Then I will never back up criminals ever again. Because by this time he knew this guy was actually the crook. The guy he helped, his Muslim brother was actually the criminal. Appearances can be wrong. And so he says, I will never make a mistake like this ever again. Meaning, when you and I make a mistake, step one, according to the sunnah of Musa alayhi salam, is admit that mistake to Allah and apologize to Him sincerely. Step two is to genuinely believe Allah forgave you. And then is to make a commitment to Allah, you will never repeat a mistake like that again. فَلَنْ أَكُونَ ظَهِيرًا لِلْمُجْرِمِينَ. As a matter of fact, the same exact situation happened the next day with Musa alayhi salam. He saw the same guy taking a beating again. Same exact situation. He's being tested again. He just promised Allah he'll never do this again. You understand? And so he was put in that trial situation again. But there's one last bit of this continuous conversation with Allah that I want to share with you, and we're done for the day. And that is eventually, with that same guy that he saved. So long story short, the same guy that he saved was getting a beating again. This time Musa alayhi salam says, no, I'm not falling for this again. But the guy kept taking a beating until he was almost going to get killed. The criminal was almost about to get killed. And now Musa alayhi salam is wondering, yesterday I killed someone because I took action too quickly. Today I might cause a life because I didn't take any action. That's also a problem. What do I do now? So فَلَمَّا أَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. When he finally decided to grab a hold of the enemy. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm not going to throw a punch now. I'm just going to grab the guy. And Musa alayhi salam has been described in the Quran, wastawa, very extremely strong, like the bark of a tree. So if he grabs somebody with a bear hug, they're not doing anything. They're done. They're disarmed. In other words, you get involved, if you don't know the full situation, you can get involved to stop the violence, but you cannot engage in any violence. You understand? That's the lesson on the side here. So he decides finally that he's going to show the intent to stop this guy, stop the soldier, because otherwise this guy will die. As much as he hates this guy now, he doesn't deserve the death penalty, so he can't have that either. So he tries to go stop him. He only got up and started walking towards the problem. The guy on the ground taking a beating, he sees Musa coming, but he gets confused. He doesn't think Musa is coming to help him this time. He thinks Musa alayhi salam is coming to join in on the beatdown. Or he's going to beat him too. Why? Because he thinks he's mad about what happened yesterday. Because he helped me out yesterday and here I am doing this again. Musa's probably mad about that, so he's coming to hit me. Was Musa alayhi salam coming to hit him? No. So he misunderstood this. The guy misunderstood the situation. And he's a criminal, so the only thing he can do is save his life any way he can. So in the middle of the street, and this by the way was in the morning time, so the street was busy. Yesterday when the crime happened, when did it happen? In the afternoon. Nobody was on the streets. It was all empty. So no witnesses. The only witness is that guy. That's the only witness. So he's about to get killed, getting beating, and he's thinking to himself, I can take a lot of this guy's punches. But if that man punches me, I know what happens. So before he gets here, I better do something. So he says, Ya Musa, أَتُرِيدُ أَن تَقْتُلَنِي كَمَا قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا بِالْأَمْسِ. Hey Musa, you want to kill me? Like you killed someone yesterday? He called him out in the middle of the street. You know, the cops, when they came in the afternoon afterwards, they saw a dead body, no witnesses. They're looking at who did it. No witnesses, no testimony, no accusations, no evidence, nothing. And now in the middle of a busy street, he just called out, who's the murderer? Musa alayhi salam. He called him out. You know, you have to be careful about who you help, is another lesson in this story. You have to be careful about who you associate with. Don't be naive. And so he called him out, and now all the cops are looking for who? For Musa alayhi salam. He went into hiding in Egypt. He went into hiding. And he doesn't know what to do now. Because you know, the police, if you kill one of their own, they go a little crazy. If you kill somebody else, okay, well, when we finish my donut, then I'll check the 911 call. But if you kill another cop, then the cops go nuts. And they want revenge. So they had a secret meeting. This was, I know I'm take a little long, but this is an important piece of the dua that I wanted you to know. They decided that they're not going to arrest Musa. They decided they're going to shoot to kill if they see him. Normally, if somebody commits a crime, what do the police do? They arrest you, then they bring you for trial. But they knew Fir'aun loves him. So if they bring him for trial, Fir'aun will say, okay, no more punches for you. Now go to your bedroom and think about what you just did. He's going to get off. He's not going to kill him. But they don't like him anymore. So they're going to make some story to Fir'aun. Secretly they planned that as soon as they find Musa, they will execute him. They'll kill him. One of his friends, who used to be a police officer, was in the secret meeting. And he knew where Musa would be hiding because he's his best friend. So he came to Musa alayhi salam, told him, look, إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكْ لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. The generals have made a decision, secretly, they're going to kill you. The only option you have, if you think you just want to hand yourself over to the authorities and admit your crime, you are wrong. They're just going to execute you. You need to get out of here. فَخْرُجْ إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. You need to get out of Egypt, I mean well for you. This is the last part of the dua I wanted to share with you. Musa alayhi salam, as he is leaving Egypt, hiding behind every corner, seeing if the cops can see him or not, seeing if he can make an escape out of there and get into the desert, he turns to Allah and says, رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. قَالَ رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. He said, Master, rescue me from the wrongdoing nation. Rescue me from the corrupt nation. He was living in the corrupt nation all this time. But right now, he's talking about their disregard for any law and order. Ya Allah, protect me from people who have no regard, no shame in committing a crime. They don't hold back. Their hate towards me will make them do whatever. There are people in life that mean harm to you, and you have to ask Allah to protect you from them. Like Musa alayhi salam asked. But by the way, what were they going to do to Musa alayhi salam? Kill. And what is Musa alayhi salam guilty of? Killing. Somebody could say, how can I ask Allah for the dua to protect me when I've committed the same crime? How can I do that? The crime you committed, you asked what for? Forgiveness. Now you don't have shame before Allah in asking. You ask Allah openly. You don't, like, people will hold things against you. When he came back years later, Fir'aun reminded him, didn't you do what you did? You killed someone, right? That's what Fir'aun did. But with Allah, you don't go to Allah with shame like that and say, how can I ask Allah anything anymore? Nope. Just moments later, a day later, he's asking Allah to rescue him from the wrongdoing people. And you know, this dua, Rabbi Najjini min al-qawmi al-zalimin, occurs twice in the Quran. The second time it occurs is actually on the tongue of Asiyah radiallahu anha, who was a stepmom to Musa alayhi salam. She asked Allah to rescue her from the wrongdoing nation. Najjini min fir'auna wa amilihi wa najjini min al-qawmi al-zalimin. What you learn from that is, mothers or motherly influence, parental influence, they should teach dua to their kids. And the right dua to teach is, at what occasion do you make what dua? So he knew at that occasion he needs that dua that he learned from his mother. Because that's echoed from the same family. So he says, Najjini min al-qawmi al-zalimin. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us the guidance to ask the right words from Allah Azza wa Jal at the right occasion. And may Allah protect us from the wrongful influences around us. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.